Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ahmed Abdul Ahad. I have completed my engineering from JNTU and even my masters from JNTU in 2015, and presently I am pursuing PhD from Crescent Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai, and I have been here and servicing this institute for past 2 years, and I will be teaching all the core subjects. That is, for third years I used to take theory of structures, then for second year strength of materials, and along with that this engineering mechanics. So for you people, especially for civil engineering students, I will be taking engineering mechanics, which is one of the most important subject, one of the most core subjects. Without these subjects we cannot able to we cannot able to understand further subjects. So this subject completely deals with forces, types of bodies, types of reactions, and types of materials. Okay, so all these things we'll be seeing in this subject. So it is very interesting subject. It is one of the most it is such a subject that we are supposed to go to the examination hall without by hearting or without mugging up the formulas and other things. Once you understand the concept, once you understand the mechanism of each and every problem, then there is no use of by hearting or mugging up all the formulas and other things. So one of the most interesting subject, easy subject, since the name itself will give you an impression that engineering mechanics, it might be, you might be feeling that it is very difficult, we cannot able to understand, we cannot able to solve, or we cannot able to clear. So don't keep these type of things in your mind, which is it is very easy subject, it is very simple subject. Once you understand the concept, once you understand the mechanism of each and every concept problem, then it will be easy for you to get almost more than 80% or 90% and even 100% for this subject. So we'll start with the basic concepts of engineering mechanics. What are the things we are going to study in this subject, and what are the things we are going to study in the further semesters. Okay, because for civil engineering students and mechanical engineering students, for both the students, this subject is very important. It acts as a root for all the branches, for especially civil and engineering, civil and mechanical. So for higher study, higher classes, it will be helpful for you. So your basic, your fundamentals should be very important. You have to understand all the concepts very carefully. You have to, you cannot skip the topics which you could not able to understand. Okay, you have to understand, you have to learn all the things sequentially, all the things you will be learning in this subject. So I'll be giving you some small introduction about this subject. Okay. Engineering mechanics. So we'll try to divide this subject into two parts. Okay, so you will get a broad idea about this subject. So one is type of body, and other one is type of motion. Okay, so in case of type of body, again we have three things. So engineering mechanics deals with types of body and types of motions. Either we can say type of moving, okay, type of application of force, okay, or types of forces. So type of body. So we will be having first is rigid body. Okay, what do you mean by rigid body? A body which does not deform, that is said to be a rigid body. Like we have stone, it cannot deform. If you apply force, if you stand on it, it will not deform. That is a rigid body. Okay. Next is deformable body. Now what is deformable body? Suppose for example I use an rubber band or elastic band. So if you apply forces, if you apply tensile forces over the rubber band, what will happen to it? It will try to deform, isn't it? That is nothing but your deformable body. Another thing is fluid or gases. Okay. So three things in body, that is rigid body, then another one is deformable body, then other one is fluid or gases. Fluid or gases is nothing but it will take any shape of container. Okay, it will take the shape of the container. So these are the three things. Now apart from that, we will be having body at rest, then we have body in motion. So forces may be acting on the body which is resting, and the forces may be acting when the body is moving also. Okay. So we can say this as static, and in this case we will be dealing with dynamics. So again in dynamics we will be having kinematics and then we have kinetics. So body is at rest. Suppose for example I am standing here and you people are sitting there. So there is the body, you people are at rest and you are applying some force on the chair or some force on the table. So that is nothing but your body which is at rest and it is under the action of force. Okay. Similarly, body is in motion. So in motion we will be having dynamics. What do you mean by dynamics? Study of action of forces under the action of, study of motion of a body under the action of forces. So this one again it is subdivided into kinematics and kinetics. What is kinematics? Kinematics is something in which we study the acceleration, we study the velocity without considering the origin, without considering the basic force which has been applied, without considering the energy which caused the body to motion. Okay. Now what about this one? What is kinetics? Kinetics is something in which we consider what is the cause of motion, how the body is moving. Okay. Suppose for example I am driving a car. Okay. So car driving, I am not considering anything, we are just bothered about the velocity, how many kilometers per hour the body is moving. Okay. So that is nothing but kinematics. But if you consider the engine, then what is the cause of motion? Cause of motion is nothing but your kinetics. Because of engine, the entire vehicle is moving. So what is the energy, what is the torque, what is the horsepower of the engine? All these things will be covering in kinetics. And what is kinematics? What is the velocity, what is the acceleration, what is the speed? All these things will be said without understanding the concept of energy, cause of motion. Okay. So this is kinematics and this is kinetics. So as far as your syllabus is concerned, your subject is concerned, that is engineering mechanics is concerned, we will be learning about only this thing. We will be learning about rigid body only. Okay, seems to be very vast subject. We have static body, rigid body, then deformable body, then fluid gases. Then apart from that we have motions, body is at rest. So many things are there. So, but as far as our syllabus is concerned, engineering mechanics is concerned, we will be studying about only what now? That is rigid body. We will not study about this one. We will not study about the fluid mechanics, and this one we will be studying, okay, later. I mean, in this semester we will be studying about this one. This is not required. Okay. So totally this one and this one, that is, this will be your part 1 of engineering mechanics and this will be your part 2 of engineering mechanics. What about these things? these things we will be studying about in the further semesters. Okay. So these are the things we will be studying in further semesters. Presently in this semester, that is for engineering mechanics, you will be studying about dynamics and rigid body, and what are the forces acting on the rigid body, what are the things acting on the moving bodies and all, that we will be studying. Okay. So after getting the introduction about this broad subject, what are the things we will be learning, what are the things we will not be learning in this semester, subdivided. Now we will learn about some basic principles of mechanics. Okay. And since we are in civil engineering and mechanical engineering, so we cannot forget Newton, isn't it? Newton is one of the most prominent scientists. So we have to remember him, we cannot forget him. So all his blessings should be upon us. Without his theories and all his findings, we cannot go further in engineering mechanics and even for civil engineering and mechanical engineering subjects. So Newton will be helping us till our masters, even for our entire engineering system. Okay. So basic fundamentals or basic principles. So what are the basic principles? So basic principles is nothing but Newton 3 laws. What are the 3 laws of motion? We have studied in engineering physics also. So engineering mechanics is nothing but a branch of physics which deals with the effect of forces or multiple forces on a body. Okay. So Newton's first law of motion. So what is Newton's first law of motion? Newton's first law of motion is every body tries to be in rest or in motion. Every body tries to be in rest or in motion unless and until external force is applied on it. That means somebody is standing here. Okay. This is a material we have and it is resting on my hand. So it will rest on my hand unless and until there is an external force which is applied, then only it will move. Otherwise the body will try to be at rest. Alright. So similarly, a body is moving. You are moving in a vehicle. Okay. A vehicle is moving at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Okay. So unless and until you won't apply brake, it will move at the same speed. Okay. You might be saying, sir, how the vehicle will move at the same speed? It will move at the same speed unless and until there is some frictional force or external forces applied on it. So that is why we say that Newton's first law is a body tries to be in rest or in motion unless there is an unbalanced force applied on it. What is unbalanced force? Now suppose, for example, this is a body. If I am applying force in this direction, then it is a balanced force, isn't it? I am applying 10 newtons here and 10 newtons here, so the body is at rest again, isn't it? So if I apply the force in one direction, that is unbalanced force, I am applying what? I am not applying balanced force, I am applying unbalanced force. So I am applying a force, so what is happening? The body is trying to move. Okay. Or else the body is trying to move, and if you don't apply the force, the body will try to be at rest. Similarly, body is moving. If you don't apply brakes, if you don't apply frictional forces, then the body will try to remain in its same force. Suppose, for example, you are going in a bus. So what will happen in a bus? You will be standing on the corridor. If the bus stops, what will happen? Or you are sitting in the bus, what will happen to you? So suddenly the bus driver put on the brakes. So you will feel a type of movement. So what is that movement? You are also moving along with the bus. So the body will try to remain in the same speed. So you will apply your own brakes, then you will be sitting in the same position. Okay. Similarly, when you come down, when you come down on a running bus, what will happen to you? You will run for certain distance. Why? Because that is your body, will try to remain in the same force or in the same direction unless you won't apply any unbalanced force upon you. Okay. So the first law is every body tries to be at rest or in motion unless and until there is an external applied unbalanced force. Unbalanced force, which is very, very important. If you write only applied force, then the entire law will become different. Okay. So applied unbalanced force, that is very, very important. So every body tries to be at rest or in motion unless and until there is an external applied unbalanced force. Okay. Now this is the first law. What is Newton's second law of motion? Newton's second law of motion is, suppose for example we have a football. So football is coming to you at a certain speed, it will rotate, it has some velocity. So if you want to kick the ball to certain distance, so you will apply some force, isn't it? So it will take the direction of the force. Suppose for example there is a ball coming over here to you, then what you will do? You will kick the ball. The footballer will kick the ball. So with the help of his force, the ball will go in upward direction or in downward direction or any other direction. The direction taken by the ball will be in the direction of his force. Suppose for example he is hitting the ball in right direction, that the ball will go in the same direction, it will not go in opposite direction. That is what is the Newton's second law of motion. So momentum of a body is directly proportional to the applied force. This is the Newton's second law of motion. Now what about Newton's third law? Newton's third law of motion is every force has equal and opposite reaction. That is the Newton's third law. Without reaction, there is no force. A force will come in two couples. That is, so for example, I am applying force here, I am hitting here. So there will be some reaction coming from the wall or from the board. Okay. So for example, I am applying some force here. So what will happen? There will be some internal force coming towards my applied force. So that is nothing but your Newton's third law. If you are sitting on a chair, you are sitting on a chair just because there is an equal and opposite reaction. You are sitting on a bench, you are sitting on a wall, or you are sitting on anything, then what is happening? There is an equal and opposite reaction towards your external force. So every force has equal and opposite reaction. Every force has equal and opposite reaction. This is the Newton's third law of motion. So these are the things which we have to consider all around this engineering mechanics, because this is the basic fundamentals which has been guided by Mr. Newton. So Dr. Newton has helped us in many ways. So unless our engineering is finished, or even after your engineering also, even if you go on field, if you go in designing or analysis, anywhere, you cannot forget Newton. Newton will, you have to remember Newton's. So you have to learn these things. Newton's has helped us in many ways. So these three laws of motions are also very, very important. Okay. So since we have studied Newton's law of three laws of motion, so we will go for the units of forces also. Units of forces is very, very important. So we are studying about the mechanics. So units of force or force, that's it. So units of force is, we take units in newtons. Okay, so we have Newton, then we have kilonewton, then we have meganewton, then we have giganewton. So what is this Newton, kilonewton, meganewton, giganewton? It is same as grams, milligrams, grams, kilograms, then tons and all. Okay. So Newton, 1 giganewton is equal to 10 power 9 newtons. Then we have 1 meganewton is equal to 10 power 6 newtons. Then we have 1 kilonewton is equal to 10 power 3 newtons. So in our engineering mechanics and even in strength of materials, and even if you go for analysis and design subjects, we basically go for newtons. We always get bothered about newtons. So that is why I have given you all the conversions in newtons. Okay. So whenever you see 1 giganewton, you can convert it to newton. Similarly, 1 meganewton, you can convert it into newtons. Always we have to convert all the units to the basic unit, that is newtons. So for example, I have 100 giganewton. So for the calculation of problems, what we have to do now? We have to convert this giganewton to newton. So what we will do now? We will convert this. What is this? 100. How to convert giganewton into 10 power 9. Now this has become newton. So this value we will be taking in our calculations. Okay. So step by step we will be learning all the things. So giganewton, we have to convert this to newtons. Always we have to convert this to newtons, which is very, very important. Without converting newtons, we cannot solve the problem. Okay. So make sure that you convert all the units to newtons, basic units. Then for example, we have 20 kilonewton. So what you will do for 20 kilonewtons? So we have to convert this to newtons. So how will you convert this to newtons? 1 kilonewton is equal to 10 power 3 newton. So what we will do here? 20 into 10 power 3, it has become newtons. Suppose for example, we have 156 meganewton. How much? 156 meganewton. So how will you convert this 156 meganewton to newton? 156 into 10 power 3 newton. Okay. So always the best thing is we have to convert all the units to only one unit, that is newtons. This is very, very important. Newtons, we have to convert it to newton, and for the conversion of newtons we have simple basic concepts. So this is 10 power 6, sorry, 10 power 6 newtons. So for example, again we have 256 meganewton. So what we will do here now? 256 into 10 power 6 newton. Okay. Always we have to convert it to newtons. Always we have to convert it to newtons. Please make a note. We have to convert all the force units to newtons. We should not take meganewton or giganewton or kilonewton, especially in engineering mechanics. Okay. Then we have any units, 257 kilonewton. Then what you will do? 257 into 10 power 3 Newton. Okay, this is how we have to convert all the units to newtons. Okay, force, the units of force is Newton, then newtons may be Newton, kilonewton, meganewton, giganewton. Then how to convert this giganewton, meganewton, kilonewton to newton? This is the thing. These are the conversion units. These are very, very important, and I prefer all the students to make a note of this one, especially these things. This is very, very important. It will help you in your examinations, in the conversions, and even if you go to the examination, you try to put on this one in a small rough work, that try to write down all these conversions, because once you see these things, you can easily recall the conversions very quickly for the calculations. Okay. Now we have seen types of, units of forces. Now we will go for types of forces. How many types of forces are there? Okay. So, types of forces. The very first thing is, we have point load. Types of forces or types of loads we can write it. Okay. Both are same. So, point load. What is point load? The best example of point load is a person standing on a beam or a slab or a structure, a simple structure, or you are sitting on a chair, or you can consider two wheels. We have a bike. Okay. Okay. The weight will be acting in downward direction. So, this is your point load acting on road or beam. Suppose this is your road. So, there is a point load acting on this one, a point load acting on this one. So, this is nothing but your point load. Okay. So, for example, again, a person is standing on a beam. Suppose this is a beam. This is a beam. So, what is happening here? A person is standing here on the beam. So, what is happening? What is the effect of that particular person? It will create a point load on the beam. So, this is your point load. Another thing is UDL. Now, what is this UDL? UDL is uniformly distributed load. Now, the best example is train. A train is moving on a bridge. So, what happens? This is a bridge. Okay. This is a bridge and a train is moving. So, we denote UDL in this form. A train is moving in this direction. So, what will happen? There will be some weight per meter. Okay. So, this is your UDL. This is nothing but your train. Next is, we have UVL. What is UVL? Uniformly varying load. Varying load. Now, what is uniformly varying load? Where we can see uniformly varying load? Suppose, for example, we have a dam structure. This is your dam, isn't it? Here we have reservoir. So, here the water is stagnated, water is collected over here in the reservoir, and this is the dam. This is actually dam. Okay. The structure is said to be your dam. So, what happens to this wall, this dam? Once the water is raised up, so what will happen? The weight will be increased gradually at this line. Okay. The force of water is acting on the dam in this way. So, once the water gets reduces, then the weight or the force on the dam will also get reduces. So, that is nothing but your uniformly varying load. Again, this one is also in weight per meter. Okay. So, all these things we will be studying in the upcoming classes.